Learn about the Navigator platform property, what operating system string it returns, and why it is duplicated in modern web development. In this example, let's look at the Navigator platform property together. The Navigator platform property was built to tell your code what underlying operating system or hardware system the visitor is running, like Windows, Mac, or Linux. However, it is known for being inaccurate, and you are going to see why that is in this example. So I'll move into the script tag and I'll use the document.getElement by ID method in order to output why it is being notorious to the screen for inaccuracy. Navigator platform Navigator.platform. Now, if you look at my screen now, you are seeing Windows Win32. Now, if you are running a modern 64-bit versions of Windows, this property will usually still spit out Win32. For example, in my own case, I'm running a 64-bit Windows, and yet Navigator platform is saying that I am running a Windows 32, and that is because browsers froze the output in order to protect old code from crashing, and that is why it is always going to return this particular notorious inaccurate information for you. I am running a 64-bit window and it is telling me that it's a 32-bit window. So it does not matter where you try this property, or it does not matter the kind of operating system, whether you are on a Mac or you are on a Linux system, it's always going to, provide inaccurate information for you. So this example automatically fetches the platform identification string from the browser environment and log it onto the screen inside the paragraph. So looking at our code, the Navigator.platform queries the browser environment for the platform hardware compilation, and here are some common return values that you can see. In my own case, because I'm on Windows, I'm seeing Windows 32 bits for, and this is virtually for all Windows devices for both Windows, for both 32 bits and 64 bits. If you are on a Mac, you can see Mac Intel. For Intel and Apple Silicon Macs that is running Safari or Chrome. For Linux, you can see x86_64 for desktop Linux system. For iPhone or iPad, if you are using iOS mobile devices. And for Windows, like I already said, you see a 32-bit or 64-bit description like this, regardless of whether you are running a 64-bit version. It's always going to display this Win32, that is 32-bit system, operating system. So the document.getElement on its own is helping us to target our empty div that we have here with an ID of demo, and so it inserts this text along with the platform identity string that is fetched and returned from this Navigator.platform, and use the inner.html to write to the DOM so that you can see the output on the screen, as you can see right here on the right side. So here are a few key takeaways from this lesson. Number one, the Navigator.platform property is officially duplicated in modern web specification. You should avoid writing new code that relies on it. And one of the reasons why it is duplicated is because of the fact that it can return inaccurate information. Like I already said, that I'm running a 64-bit Windows system, and yet it is returning a 32-bit Windows system as the platform that my browser is on, which is incorrect when you compare it with the actual bit that my operating system is operating in. And so this kind of information that is inaccurate can, cause inconsistency in performance. And that is one of the reasons why it's been officially deprecated in modern web specifications. Number two, why it was frozen. Browser stopped updating this string to combat browser fingerprinting. A browser fingerprinting is an invasive technique where tracking scripts combine tiny hardware facts to build a unique profile of your machine without your consent. So, due to privacy issue, let me put it that way, for privacy issue and protection, it is one of the reason. It's another reason why this property is frozen. And number three is that if you need to write responsive code that adapts to different environments, use modern CSS media queries or features detection API rather than checking the operating system platform. So if you are working if you are working or you are trying to achieve responsiveness, when you are trying to do it, it's better you use modern CSS media query or feature detection API rather than using the operating system to determine the display or the size of what a user should see or how responsiveness should work, because this property can be so unreliable to think that what you use it to do is actually going to do what you think it will do. For example, now, if in my case you are trying to use the information that is gotten to work in responsiveness for this window, this is definitely going to fail, and that is because of the fact that I am running a 64-bit system and not 32-bit system. So if I now target 32-bit system, at the end of the day, you will notice that in the output is actually not going to suit my own specific needs, and that is because of this inaccurate information that is being fetched and returned back to me, whereas my system is not a 32-bit. So using that to target responsiveness is actually going to fail, and it's not going to match what I expect it to do in my situation. So that is why it is recommended that you use a modern CSS media queries in order to target responsiveness, or use feature detection API instead of relying on a deprecated property like the Navigator platform property.